Assalamualaikum and good morning, Sir Alias. Okay, we are from DEKA 1. Our group member is Muhammad Eilman bin Mokhzamany, Farhan Irsyad bin Zaidi, Ahmad Arif Hariz bin Rusli, and Ammar Haziq bin Muhammad Sanusi. Today, we all are about to discuss about safety issues at storage room.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ahmad and I will talk about introduction. So the first one is organization must frequently conduct hazard identification, risk assessment and control, or is known as HIRAP. The organization who participated in HIRAP reportedly positive result and reduction in hazard. So basically, people who participate, organization who participate in HIRAP can avoid hazard while working. With reference to the published Department of OSH for guidelines for hazard identification, risk assessment and risk control 2008. This course intends to discuss a systematic and objective approach to HIRAP. So the goal of this guideline is to give a systematic and objective way to evaluate risk as well as a technique to control the risk. So hazard is a source or condition that has the potential to cause human injury or illness, property damage, environmental damage, or a combination of these. Hazard identification entails determining the unfavorable occurrences that contribute to the hazard materialization as well as the process through which those unfavorable events may occur.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, my name is Irsyad bin Zaidi. Now I will talk about hazard identification at storage room and hierarchy table. Okay, first, hazard identification. The objective of hazard identification is to highlight the critical operation of jobs or those tasks that represent major risk to employees' health and safety, as well as hazard associated with specific equipment due to energy source, working circumstance, or activities conducted. There are three types of this danger. One is health hazard, second safety hazard, and third environmental hazard. Okay, now I will talk about health hazard at storage room because our group take storage room as our place to discuss about. Okay. Health danger. Okay, health hazard. Health hazard is a health danger that can have substantial and rapid consequences, or it might have long-term consequences. Now I will talk about these two consequences, which is rapid consequences and long-term consequences. Rapid consequences is the incompetence of safety staff. It can result in death because of flammable material which is not taken care of. Okay, at store usually there are some flammable material. If we doesn't take care of it, it may be fire or explosion at store. Okay, Long-term consequences. Employee may have illness because of toxic chemical substance in the storage room. It can cause mutation. Okay, so we must take care of these consequences before it's too late. Second, the second hazard is safety hazard. Okay, usually an injury caused by a safety hazard is obvious. Okay. Any force that are strong enough to inflict injury or property damage is a safety hazard. Okay. There are some examples of safety hazard at storage room. Okay. First, slipping or tripping, okay, such as wires run across floor. Okay. Usually at storage room, there are some wire. At your workplace, there are some wire sepah kat floor. You may run to it and you may slip or trip and you fall. It can cause injury. Second, fire hazard from flammable material. It may cause some really dangerous injury. Okay, third is vehicle. Okay. At factory or something like that, there must be forklift or trucks at their storage room, because there are many items to bring and some employees must have their forklift to carrying their item lah. Okay, so about forklift and trucks, how can they be a safety hazard for employees? Okay, after you use your forklift or trucks, you must put back in their actual or provided position, because if you put it somewhere, it may cause some of what it will disturb your organisation of your storage room. Okay, as example, you may be it may cause accidents between forklifts and truck. Okay, if you don't put that in their provided place. Okay, lastly, you work at height. It may cause their safety hazard because you may fall. You work on scaffold, okay, such as high place, you may fall and it may cause really serious injury. The third health danger is environmental hazard. Okay, environmental hazard is a release into the environment that has the potential to hurt or have negative consequences. As example, a worker draining a glycol system and dumping the liquid into a storm sewer. It may be unaware of the environmental impact. Okay. When controls and work procedures are not followed, environmental hazards occur. Okay, next is the hierarchy table. Okay. The goal of the main cause of hierarchy table exists is to implement and identify all factors that may put workers at risk of an accident. Okay, there are some safety steps to avoid some accident lah. Okay, to consider the possibility of hazard that could occur under any circumstances or conditions, and to enable workers to plan, implement and monitor preventive measure against occupational injury risk. Okay. Hierarchy table exists. Okay. This hierarchy table must be used in all of company to ensure the safety of the employee and to avoid any accident that may cause harm to others. this is hierarchy table lah. Example, okay, your boss must fill this form lah. Okay, this hierarchy table have hazard identification, risk analysis and risk control. Okay, hazard identification is you identify the hazard that may cause harm to others or yourself. Okay, risk analysis is existing risk, control if any. Okay, risk control is step that can control to avoid this hazard lah. Okay, this hierarchy table is so function in our safety. It could decrease some hazard lah that may happen in your company at storage room. Okay.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Arif and now I'm asking about the risk assessment for the store. Okay, risk assessment can be help in prevent accident, improve overall safety performance and ultimately confirm save your money. Okay, to get more precise and accurate information, you can first walking around all area of the store, to talking to the staff about their knowledge and experience and also about their health and safety issue. And third is study the accident book to check about the previously resulted accident or near miss. Okay, this is data of risk assessment. The first forward activity is handling and moving the stock. Hazard is lifting and moving heavy object or object that are suitable to catch risk or probably cause serious injuries or back pain from handling heavy bulky object or delivery from complicated. Recommended to control the risk. Train employees in properly lifting the take pressure of their back. A trolley is available for moving heavy stock. Heavy load are stored and assembled at the activity. And the next work activity is slip and slip. Hazard is doorway or rain, spillage, stock on floor, uneven surface. And risk is injured if they slip on the spillage or slip over object. Recommended to control the risk, make sure the floor in good condition, general cleaning is carried out. Wet floor warning signs are always used. And for the wet weather, place the doormat at the entrance. Next work activity is robbery and violence. Hazard is verbal abuse and assault. This is severe threats or injury from assault, threat or verbal abuse from member of the public. For the recommended is installing security cameras, alarm and other security measures. Train staff in handling tense situation in customer or robber, establish an emergency procedure for everyone to follow. Trainer is working at it. Placing store on a high shelf, and for the risk is fall from any heat can cause bruising and fracture. For the recommended is provide a suitable equipment and education on how to use that equipment properly. Items that use frequently are stored in an accessible area. Position are stable and step are horizontal when using the lift. Then next work activity is transport. Hazard is when deliveries. The risk staff or public may suffer serious, possibly fatal injury if struck by the vehicle. For the recommended control of the risk, do not walk backward when unloading delivery from vehicle. Do not jump off the delivery vehicle. Establish system to avoid transport-related injuries such as designing accidental operating for deliveries to avoid from stores busier period. And next work activity is contact with cleaning chemicals. The hazard is product that contain bleach, risk, skin irritation or can cause stress. Even vapor from the bleach can cause several lung damage or death. For the recommended, make sure to use and store cleaning product safely. If possible, replace irritant chemical with cleaner alternative. Mop, brush and protective glove are provided and used wisely. And for the last part, work activity is electrical equipment and installation. Hazard is heater, socket, And for the risk, electrical shock or burn from faulty electrical equipment, electrical power also can lead to fire. And for the recommended to control the risk is faulty equipment is taken out of use and properly replaced. Safety check of the electrical equipment and installation are carried out to make sure it continue to be safe. And know where to transport if and how to safely turn off the electricity is in an emergency. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ammar Haziq bin Sanusi. Now I would like to talk about the suggestion to control the risk in the store. So the first point is to identify the hazard. So first we need to check the instructions or data sheet for the equipment for produce, since this may extremely useful in clarify the damage and putting them into the context. Engage the use of machines to lift goods should be provided to qualify the individual. So the next point is non-routine operations must be considered. Engage the maintenance, cleaning operations or exchange in the production cycle. Next is to check accidents and medical record over the past a few years. This is often useful in identifying the risks that cannot to prove immediately. So for the last is always consider health risk in a long run. For example, arranging items that are not in a correct order or exposure to hazardous material. The next point is who may be injured because of this. So you need to ask, you need to think about the who will be injured in this case. So the first point is if member of the public may be injured because of the work carried out, consider them. So the next is some workers such as a new and inexperienced worker, immigrant, new or pregnant mom, people with problems, temporary workers, people with disability, domestic workers and lonely workers may have a special need. Example, see your depend your employee. So the third point is consider staff who are not always in the office, such as a guest, constructor, and a maintenance worker. So for the next main point is assess the danger. So employee must make a module risk assessment that show the general hazard and the risk associated with these activities. The second one is he need to review what is being done and the protection that have been made. So for the third, considering the danger such as installing a mirror at the blind corner to prevent the vehicle accidents in the shop. For the fourth one, employees may take the following practical step, such as trying less danger alternative, restrict access to hazard, and arrange work in such a way that it is less exposed to danger. So for the last main point is the check your risk assessment regularly. So the employer must ask itself about a new risk can be happen to employee if new item come in in the store. So for the first one is, are there any significant difference? The second one is, are there any problem that have been identified by each employee? For the third one is, did the accident and incident that almost happened, never happened, teach the employees a lesson? And the last one is there any that can be done to improve the current situation?
Okay, so for the conclusion, safety is the worker's main priority during working. So if a worker does not pay attention to their safety, that will be higher will happen to the worker. So as we all know, in the store we have many spaces that fill up with boxes, with items, and so many things in the store. So we need to be careful and keep ourselves uh, in a safe place. So we need to follow all of the SOPs that have been given, and we need to take care of ourselves during work. So that's all from us.